One lake, for real.
Really?
They banned us from.
Yeah, they
Lake
said no
Without.
more. Y'all go fish somewhere else.
Really?
We like you, but
I
you
didn't know
can't
that.
fish our tournaments anymore.
That's crazy.
It was really just a bunch of dumb hicks down there. That
Yeah,
didn't
that's not-
beat them no more.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't real hard.
Glitter Rocket Rambling.
The glitter rocket. Oh, we're trying to come up with these names. We got to at least narrow it down to like the top 10.
I like this one. No, I'm going to surprise y'all with some. I'm going to put them in my notes since y'all hadn't heard them all.
We don't even know what we're doing. Like, this is our third attempt at a podcast, and we still don't know what we're doing. And we're still wearing these things, which I
And Matt,
still
said,
have
Matt
no
says
idea.
he's got a podcast and he don't wear them.
I've watched 2 or 3 podcasts trying to get tips on how to do this thing, and nobody's wearing them.
McCoy says you had to.
It's McCoy's podcast.
See? 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 It does sound official, though. I do like... Do I have to get close like that?
Yeah, you need to get real close.
Real close.
Speak
Real
into
close.
the mic.
So, Matt, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think we're doing on our podcast so far? This is the third one.
Oh, me?
Yes.
You look that way and then say this way. Yeah, I think it's like a... I mean, well, McCoy's doing like a 9.7. I think us three
He's just
are-
making us look
I
good.
think us three are more on like a 6.5 right now.
Well, we're here.
Well,
At my house.
Yeah, we are. We're
For a podcast.
This is awesome.
Still-
This is the Cook Shack, Canterbury Cook
Sorta-
Shack, right
sorta
here.
is.
I wish I'd have watched one of the podcasts, and I could at least give y'all some pointers. You know,
We got a buddy of mine, Mark McKeag. I did some cooking today.
Mark's been a buddy of mine for many, many years.
20 years probably.
I've fished with Mark over the years. We've done a couple of TV shows together. He's taught me a lot of things about fishing. He's just a good dude. He can catch them. He can catch them.
Him and Tim Hurst really.
Oh, that dynamic duo.
powerful.
They don't. I think. How many tournament organizations y'all barred from? 'Cause you can't fish them anymore. That's not a joke.
One lake, for real.
Really?
They banned us from.
Yeah, they
Lake
said no
Without.
more. Y'all go fish somewhere else.
Really?
We like you, but
I
you
didn't know
can't
that.
fish our tournaments anymore.
That's crazy.
It was really just a bunch of dumb hicks down there. That
Yeah,
didn't
that's not-
beat them no more.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't real hard.
Take that.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
They're watching the podcast, by the way.
I hope so. I've been wanting to tell them that for 20 years.
Here's your chance.
Well, we're back for episode 3 of the No Name podcast, but we do have a couple contenders for names now. We're
I
getting
just
close.
thought of a name when he said that.
What?
The Real REEL Shots Podcast. Real Shots Podcast.
Ah,
That was a real shot.
that was a real
That
shot.
was a real shot.
We could throw shots.
I came up with that, by the way.
That's your name.
by myself.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Real
part of the
shots.
top 10. What was the other one? Glitter Boys or something?
Glitter Rocket Sparkles something. I don't know. That's like what my daughter wanted to name our dog when we got it. Glitter Rocket Sparkles or something.
I'm Glitter. He's Rocket. You're Sparkles.
Okay. Perfect. I have some names, by the way.
Okay.
I pulled some names.
This
All right.
smoke, it may look like somebody's smoking, but that's our.
That's our ambiance.
No, it's a little insect thing over there. I don't even know
Special
what's
I
called.
thought
effects.
that was
Well,
something.
let me
Matt,
tell
what do
you,
you
it ain't
call
working.
those? We use it for deer hunting.
Dylan was Thermocell.
Thermocell.
I
That's our
thought that was
thermocell
just for
smoke.
ambiance, man.
Yeah.
I thought you put that
Dylan
up
was
there.
in charge
we
of
want
the
a little
special
smoky
effects.
thing,
We don't
maybe.
want people to think we're out here smoking.
Well, you
I
were
don't know what
smoking all
we're
day on the
smoking.
Traeger.
Yeah, on the Traeger we're smoking.
All right.
Turned out really well, too.
It was good.
I've got
Lots of pictures up.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, here it is. I'm about to say I deleted them by accident.
Oh,
Don't
you
look.
have-
Don't
Okay.
look.
All right. Here we
Don't
go.
look. Don't
Now,
look.
look, just to preface, we still have not come up with a name yet, but we're narrowing it down, and there's still an opportunity for us to add some more names to that final list. So when you get done watching the podcast, drop some names down that we might be able to call this.
Notice
thing.
how subtle he was bringing that over in front
Yeah,
of
he
me.
wanted it over in front of him.
I know. I'm missing my fish, man.
It was faded on one side where it's rode on his
Hey,
dashboard.
now let me tell you the story about this real quick, okay, while you're looking. This is a good story. This bass came from Mexico.
Yep.
I bought it in Mexico at a tournament. Me and Canterbury won the tournament, gold medal.
You bought yourself a trophy?
I did.
It was,
That's so Scott
No,
smart.
listen, this is great.
we bought mount. I got one inside.
This is great.
Replicas.
So we go there, and we had the pre-tournament meeting, right? And so they had all these booths set up. Now, mind you, everyone that's in this tournament flew in from other countries. We drove our trucks down, so we're the only people that had vehicles and boats there that we had of our own. And they had a guy sitting there that had his booth set up at the meeting with all these beautiful mounts. The most beautiful. This is just normal. His mounts are beautiful.
Yeah.
And he was selling them. and no one bought any because everybody's flying back to Italy and stuff. And like, where are you going to put this 10-pound mount? So at the end of the deal, we're admiring the mounts, and I'm talking to the guy a little bit. And at the end of the deal, the guy says, "Hey, I'll make you a deal. What will you give me for everything? I don't want to drive back to Monterey with these mounts." And I said, I have $1,000 cash. And he goes, "Deal." I bought 11 mounts of bass between 8 and 12 pounds.
And 6 inches.
Yeah, and 6 inches. I had a lamp. But so the funny part of the story was, I'm sitting there going, man, I have these mounts, and I'm going to have them on the wall, and people are going to ask me about these bass, and I'm going to have to, like, kind of make up a story about them. Like, oh, that's the one I caught at so-and-so.
I got one of them.
Yeah.
It's like a 9 1/4, and one I caught there in practice.
Right.
Okay.
But here's what happened. So I pre-bought all the mounts. So I bought 12 mounts.
Yeah.
Fred Rubanis took one of them, Canterbury took one of them, and I kept the rest. Then throughout the week, we all caught a bass that represented that exact mount. So now I have a 12-pound mount on my wall. That's a 12-pounder I caught.
He caught it on the show.
Yeah. So all the mounts in my office I pre-bought before I caught the fish.
Like that.
And then
That's
this sat on my dash for all those years until this year we came up. This is the house trophy. Each event, the top finisher gets the
Okay.
bass.
So do you have one that you didn't actually catch, one that it represents?
This one.
Yeah.
That's it?
I catch that one all the time. I got lots of stories about that one.
I weighed 4 of those in at Lay Lake.
Yeah.
I mean, at Eufaula last week.
At Eufaula?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the ABT. So, yeah.
So hopefully I'll get it at the end of the year back at least a couple times. But Matt and I tied at the Murray tournament. He literally by the ounce. So he beat me because he was one spot ahead of me, I guess.
He finished one spot. I got 1
he's
point more than you.
He's Matt Airy. He got ahead of me, and I'm
No.
M.
Is that how it worked?
That's how it was.
Is that how Bass does it?
Yes. Alphabetical order.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest one-day catch.
So do y'all have like a prize for the overall winner, like Angler of the Year in the house at the
We
year?
haven't
'Cause I'm
come up
thinking
with
one
that,
of those,
but-
one of
but-
those mounts could
Hey,
be
we,
it.
we could do that.
You could keep it at your house for the
That
whole
would be
year.
good.
All right.
Until the next year.
So we should do that because we're all about the same. Well, we're not far apart in points. I looked at the sheet. What are you, 16th or 8th?
Matt's leading the
14th.
house.
What are you, like
21st.
And I'm like 23rd
or something,
4th.
yeah.
So we're all pretty close. So we could do that halfway through the season.
That would be cool.
Yeah. All right. Names. What you got? What you
I got some. I just pulled 6 or 7 from the comments from the last show, and a couple of my personal favorites. You ready? Yeah, Canterbury, you probably hadn't heard some of these.
I haven't heard any
You
of
hadn't
them.
read any of the comments. So the first one is a Hollywood Squares.
Pretty good.
Yeah. The Trouble Hook.
All right.
The Trouble Hook.
Yeah.
The Backlash.
like the Backlash.
Isn't bad.
Backlash?
Yeah.
Not bad.
But this is probably one of my favorites. House Cut Podcast.
There we go.
I like that too.
Got a little ring to it.
Yeah.
2 Scots and a Matt. It's original. It's original.
And a Matt.
And last but not least, Build a Bag Podcast.
Build a bag. I like it.
Now
All right.
there's a bunch more on there
There's
that I
so
didn't
many
get
more.
to.
We got
There's like
tied up this
300 comments.
There was, and
So-
we need to keep going through them all. So again, drop some
By the
comments
end of the
below.
year, we'll have this figured out. We'll
Yeah.
name it.
By the end of the year, probably. We still don't know what we're doing. We still don't.
No.
So, a couple topics for today I thought would be neat. We're here at Lay Lake. We'll talk about that briefly, but we haven't been on the water yet, so there's not really much to talk about. We're excited about being here at Lay. I know Scott is. He lives probably 30 minutes or 45 minutes from the lake, and so we're looking forward to that. But speaking of fishing, we got to talk about Okeechobee in a minute.
Oh,
But what's
gosh.
going on with old Jon Cox over there blasting them?
I'll tell you.
You know, I left Santee Cooper, and everybody was like, man, he's fixing to drive to Lake of the Ozarks. I drove for 2 or 3 hours, got off the exit when I needed gas, and there he is at the gas station. He's headed straight from the weigh-in.
Back-to-back
to Lake of
tournaments, by the way.
No, and he drove from Eufaula, Oklahoma to Lake Murray.
Oh, yeah. So he had 4
Then he
in a
went
row.
from Lake Murray to Santee Cooper, and then he went from Lake Santee Cooper to Lake of the Ozarks. Now he's driving back to Lay Lake today.
Wow. IRONMAN.
And now
I seen him at
then
the-
he goes back to Santee Cooper again.
Yeah, I seen him at
Oh,
the
yeah,
weigh-in,
he's
said he
fishing
didn't even
the
practice
NPFL.
hard the first day because he was so tired. I've never heard him say he was tired before.
He's got to be tired.
I love
Gotta be.
fishing,
But John
and
fishes like he's always tired.
Well, that's true.
He's funny.
And
But I
catches
love
their
fishing,
butt.
right? And I love fishing
my
tournaments, but I
gosh.
don't know if I could. I don't know if I could.
I
just-
couldn't do it.
I don't know if I'd want to do it.
No, there's such a big deal for me personally. Like, you know how big the mental game of fishing is.
Yeah.
But
And, like-
but the more Heath just puts it, the more tournaments he fishes, the more chances he's got to win money. He just won 80 grand this week at Lake of the Ozarks. Drives out there on his 4th tournament. Got to be dead tired. I don't even know when he starts his practice. Wins the tournament. 80 grand and another trophy, another title.
But you know what's neat about John is like we're all pretty versatile. You know, we'll be drop shotting out in the river, or we'll be up shallows doing whatever. Like we do kind of whatever it takes. And John has just simplified the process. He just throws 2 or 3 of the same lures, really about 2, a chatterbait and a wacky worm.
He
all through the
orders those
spring.
wacky worms in 5-gallon buckets, I
Yeah,
heard.
really?
Yeah. Like he doesn't get them in packs. They come in big buckets.
He just opened up his whole rod locker there, the whole back compartment. It's nothing but just stacked full of generals.
Generals.
But that's all he does. And it was funny. We were at Grand Lake a couple years ago, and he said he was catching them good. We were all catching them pretty good. And he had made a little adjustment. He said, man, he caught them real good. He said, I started fishing out deep. I said, really?
I heard that. He said, I went ledge fishing.
He goes, I caught them off these ledges. And I
Did
said-
anybody
I said,
witness that?
Well, no, I kind of did because I knew where he was fishing because he'd go by me every day. I said, ledges? What do you mean? Were you back there where you were fishing? He goes, now he's fishing the back of that creek where it's 3 feet in the middle and a 1 foot everywhere else with logs around it. The first day he went around and fished all the shallow logs, and the second day he went out in the middle in the 3 foot water.
He's in the ledge.
threw a
He's
shot
in the
on
Big
ledge.
side.
And that was his ledge.
Well, hey,
that
you
was his
try to
ledge
fish
fishing.
a wacky worm with no weight in it deeper than 3 foot.
Yeah.
Big
Right.
hole.
Tell me how long it takes.
He said he was
long
slow
time.
rolling that chatterbait out there in 3 feet of water. He said he caught him on
Ledge
ledge fishing. He caught like 20 pounds.
And he
was
catches them
excited.
everywhere we go.
Yeah.
So he's
Crazy.
pretty amazing.
You know what I was saying earlier about having some type of mental reset between events. Back-to-back events are okay. 3 in a row would be tough for me personally. 4 in a row, I'm gonna go ahead and say impossible for me because there's just too much. I don't know. There's too much going through my mind between events.
You wouldn't have enough room to carry all the rods you got pre-rigged.
That's
Yeah,
a fact.
Get another.
Or he
coffin.
wouldn't have time to
You
rig.
know he's rigged for Texas right now.
Yeah, kind of. Maybe.
You have 100. Now, just to clarify, he has 100
He's
ready
got
to go
rods
rods.
rigged for St. Clair already.
Yes.
Do you
That
really?
ain't, that ain't nothing but like 6 spinning rods.
100%. They're tied up.
He's
Yeah.
got them in bundles.
Are
in
you
his
kidding
garage.
me?
No.
They're in.
His stuff's
they're in
pre-rigged.
sections.
Yeah.
He's
Like-
like the anti U2. I mean,
Yeah.
he's the opposite of the 2 Scotts.
He is.
100%. Scott's not rigged up for tomorrow right
I'm
now.
not.
I promise you.
I'm
No.
not.
That's
I
100%.
literally,
Neither Scott.
100%.
I literally,
Neither Scott.
Yeah, and he won't get there till 7.
I folded up my rain
Earliest.
suit so it didn't really get too bad when I left Santee, and I stuck it in the compartment and I straightened up a couple rods. But that's as far as I'm going to be up till 1 in the morning tonight in your garage, which is great. It's a good spot to be rigging. I might have to do another 5-hour energy, but I'll get it all rigged up by morning.
Yeah, I told Matt, I said, I feel like you're the redheaded stepchild of this group because every time I come with y'all anywhere or I see it on the podcast, you have the covered space and he's always out in the open.
Yes.
And he explained to me it was because you're never rigged when you get here and he always is.
Right. I've never seen him sit in his boat after a day of fishing.
Because I'm always.
I've never seen
He's
him.
just
hey,
like my partner.
I've
Identical.
You
never
mean
seen
prepared,
him put
Mark?
line
Yes,
on.
exactly.
I mean,
I
damnest
have-
thing you
yeah,
ever
yeah.
seen.
Can we go fishing in my boat? Something's tore up. It's not
I've
working.
never
He
seen him put line
he said,
on.
Wasn't this tore up last week we fished? I was, yeah, I didn't have time this week. The truth is, I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
That's funny. Now Matt's super prepared. His boat's always clean. I don't know how even at Santee, where my truck was destroyed with mud from all the driving up dirt roads.
That's McCoy's fault, though.
No, that's every day you drive it turns into that. Did you
Well,
go to the car wash
No.
every day?
No.
No.
Did you ever
Listen,
wash your car?
The day that it
No.
rained,
How did it stay clean?
It's a matte black wrap. That's the key. It just
I'll
mean,
take
seriously,
his
doesn't
side
show a
on
lot
this.
of
The day
nastiness.
that it rained, Matt was already parked in the shop.
Yeah.
I backed in and was parked before the rain started. You and Zaldane got caught in a monsoon
Yeah.
and had
Yeah,
to drive
yeah.
in the mud. That was the biggest part of that.
I wasn't even there, but I can tell you how it happened. Matt was there. He was there early enough to
This
drive
was during the
really
tournament.
slow
Yep.
and not get mud everywhere. And Scott was flying in on 2 wheels
coming
and
in
slinging
hot.
mud everywhere, coming in hot. And that's how his got
Yeah.
so dirty.
You're right.
And mine does get dirty, but it's
It-
clean now. McCoy
so-
and them cleaned it. I was so thankful. I was really that
Yeah, it
really
looked
took
nice
a lot
when
of.
I
I
pulled
got
up.
a good pressure washer and a foam cannon. They played all week. They did a lot of work this week.
I know. And so that's what people need. They don't
McCoy's
realize
killing it.
the amount of work that Dylan and
too.
McCoy
Yeah.
and even Byron that travels with us some, their jobs never end. I mean, they're constantly rigging cameras, filming, editing. This stuff, it drives me a little crazy when I see someone on the comments, and it's not their fault, but I wish they would just think about it before they comment. They're like, why? It might be like 3 days we haven't posted a video, hour-long tournament video that's super well produced. And they're like, what's taking so long in these videos? You need to have them out sooner. Like, they're already 3 days past the tournament. I'm like,
For one
they have to spend 4 days on one video.
for one day of the tournament, just one day of the
Yeah.
tournament, they go through your 8 hours, my 8 hours. They go through 24 hours of footage just for the one day.
Plus B-roll, so probably like, 30 hours,
Yeah.
guys?
It's a lot.
For a
It's
day.
a lot.
It's a lot. So
And they've
very
got-
much
y'all got it
appreciated.
going on
They have a
good.
hard job, and we've been on the road now for 2 weeks. 2 weeks before, they've been on the road this week, and now we're going to do another week, and then we're off for just a little bit, and then we're back at it again in Texas. So,
They probably love this podcast then. This is probably the easiest thing they do.
it's an easier edit for sure.
Yeah.
This was sort of McCoy's idea. He ordered all this stuff. I think this is all McCoy's.
You got these on
equipment.
Amazon.
I
I
knew there
believe
was
they
a
were like
brains behind
$99,
this.
I think, for the whole package. It was the 4-pack.
Dynamite.
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 Sounds good, though.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I'm going to switch gears again. Let's talk about the world record catch at Lake Okeechobee 2 weekends in a row. 2 weekends in a row.
We were at Lake Murray or Lake Santa Cooper, I can't remember, and you told me that your partner had 34.6.
Yeah, he called me up, okay? He'd fished while we're at Murray, and he calls me up while we're at Santee a week later. He says, hey, did you hear about the tournament? I said, no, I was out of the loop. And I said, no, what happened? He said, I had 34.50. I
Yeah.
said, dang, man, that's good, dude. Awesome. He
How
goes,
much
I-
you win?
Yeah, what was second place?
I
He said-
finished sixth.
He said, I finished sixth place. I said, what? He goes, there was, at that time, I thought it was 16, but it was 12 bags over 30 pounds. Now, that was at only 75
In one
boats.
tournament.
12
Golly.
bags over 30,
With how many boats?
75 boats.
that reminds
Wow.
the
75
three
bucks.
biggest bags me and Tim's ever had together, we didn't win.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's like when they're biting that good, you're
Yeah,
not going to win.
right.
You got to have the day of your life and catch the biggest fish you
But
ever
I think
caught.
that's a
Never
record.
thought about that. That's sort of crazy.
Yeah. Back then, I think that 2 weeks ago, I think that was a record of any lake. I mean, maybe Rayburn, the only lakes that could possibly contend with that type. Now, again, we're talking 30, legit 30s
Yeah,
now, not
30.
25-pound bags, 30s. I don't know if Gunnersville's ever put out that many
No,
30-pound
no,
bags.
no.
I don't know if Rayburn's ever put out that many. Maybe they have, but I don't think so.
You
So
say
I think it's
13?
13. But then, okay,
Yeah, it gets better.
yeah. So then a whole week goes by, and there was a tournament yesterday, our tournament, the Royal Martin Marine Tournament, and Hillary and I decided to fish. We went out and practiced 1 hour.
Because
the
y'all
day
were
before.
on them.
Yeah. We went out 1 hour the day
He
before.
thought they were.
I mean, they kind of were.
Yeah, I thought, yeah. So we come in with 29.60 pounds, 6 pound average. We had
Basically
30
30
pounds.
pounds.
We had 30 pounds. We finished 23rd.
Is that not crazy?
Yeah.
23rd.
No, that's.
I'm on 3 big group texts with fishermen, and it's hit all the group texts since yesterday afternoon. They're like, we got to go down there. It's crazy.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
And all topwater bites, too.
Everybody
Yeah, that's the
from
that's the
here.
sick
I mean,
part
you're
about it. It's
well,
top
we're
water
9 or
fishing.
10 hours away, but everybody
Oh, yeah.
from here should make the trip.
There is something special. Just so you know, it's happening right now, and it might not happen. I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen for the next month and a half, because it's during the bluegill spawn, and they spawn all the way through June. The water's up, which we want the water to come down a little bit, but the water's up, and it's keeping those fish up in those back bays.
Good.
So I think it'll still go down for a while. So if anybody wants to make a Hail Mary trip down to Okeechobee, and if you hit one of those areas and you hit it right, you're going to catch them. It's
Yeah.
crazy. The amount of 7 to 9 pound fish I saw with my eyes get caught with boats that were around me, it was unbelievable, dude. Like, it was every minute or two, you would hear a splashing around, look over, and a dude's landing. Like, one guy's floundering around in the boat, the other guy's got a net out trying to get it in the net, and it's these giants, man. It
Oh
was-
man, 5
Well,
pounder.
the tournament, the tournament before, he said his buddy had 34.6.
Yeah.
Finished 6th. The guy that won it and the guy that finished like 4th was all looking at each other. I mean,
Yeah.
within 100 yards of each other,
Yeah.
you know.
Wow.
Yeah,
Has there been a
37.
40? Has it been a 40 yet?
Hasn't been a 40 drop, and what's amazing. So there's this crazy, and these are all post spawn fish, by the way. And what's amazing, they're all the same year class. It's kind of I don't know how to explain this. Maybe some people in the comments can talk about this, but like there's no 10s. No 10s were caught,
Yeah.
right?
It wasn't even a 9, right?
No, there was like a high 8, some high 8s. Like I was weighing fish yesterday, which I thought my scale was wrong, digital scale.
Yeah.
And I weighed, like towards the end of the day, I'd weigh one and it weighed 468. And I go, okay, all right, 468, that might be our small one. I clipped it and I pulled another one out. 468. I'm like, how can it be dead on? I'm talking the exact. So I culled one out. Later on, I did it again, and the 2 fish were the same exact weight, like a 502 and a 502. Like
That's crazy.
to the 10th. Like it was. But when you look at the weights, it's 31.55, 31.58, 31.76. Like it's they're all the same size.
Now, during practice, you was practicing on Friday. Mm-hmm. I was working Mark's Outdoors, worked Bucks Island on Saturday. We're like, jam-packed. Mark's Outdoors broke records. It was crazy. It's a big, huge day.
I parked 3 blocks away to go get a pack of worms.
Yeah, I saw him in there.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
Had no idea what was going on.
I told him I was going to cook tonight, so he said I may ride over. So anyhow, we're at Mark's Outdoors, and you called me 4 times.
Yeah.
You said, dude, I just lost like one over 10, maybe 11. It could have been a 12. So you
big.
think it was 11 or so?
So the reason I think it was a legit 10 is because it looked like a 12.
Okay.
The back, like, especially after fishing the tournament, I caught an 8 in the tournament. I caught a couple 7s. This fish's back was this wide, and when I hit him on a frog, he's only in 2 feet of water. I thought I was hung up for a minute. Like, I couldn't move him. And then he was just going like a big bull redfish. And he came up and jumped out of the water and wallered, and it didn't even look real. Like, I don't know what, and it pulled off halfway to the boat. I don't think anybody caught it.
Like Scott, in his usual fashion, he calls me back. He says, dude, Hillary just caught a 7. Hillary caught a 6. Hillary's on fire. And I was like, well, y'all ought to just see if you can catch 30 today. That way you don't have to worry about it tomorrow. Because he likes to name them, during practice.
I went in there and said I was going to shake everything off, and Hillary said, Dad, can I please?
Matt, am I lying, Matt?
No, I shake them off.
Matt.
I shake them off.
He did last tournament, but Matt, tell the truth.
He's 50-50 now.
Yeah.
He's getting better.
And that's a big improvement.
Yeah.
He's got to catch one every once in a while for the tube, though.
Oh, I know.
For the channel.
He did good last year.
Hey, can we go ahead and say that Bass is going there at the wrong time then? After
Oh,
this?
It would
my
be
gosh.
So every year in April, by the way, no matter what
Every
April it
tournament
is,
organization there is.
every April and May, they catch giant bags like that.
And they always want to go there in January.
Yeah.
And I know,
Cold
January is
fronts.
so volatile. I've
It
been
is,
there
right,
then. I've
right.
been there in April.
Yeah.
And when I went there in April, it was just incredible.
It would be a big deal. It would be even
I've
better
never
for
been
the
late.
economy around the lake because actually they come mostly in February. And in February, we're full already. Like people are already wanting to come down there and just bass fish.
Because they're
So-
from snowbirds.
So we have to
getting away
turn
from
away a
cold
lot
weather.
of people that want to come enjoy the lake, and the whole town's full. And people that want to come and enjoy February fishing, that whole week is a little crowded for them. So if bass and FLW would come in late March, April, May, then a lot of the snowbirds are starting to leave.
Yeah.
And the lake's opened up a little bit more. You don't have as much out of town traffic, and the lake would fish good, and it would be good for the economy for the towns.
Yeah. So Bass, are you
good.
listening? Are you listening?
We do need to get them down there for that.
Everybody.
Be fun.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. And
We
it'll keep
saw
happening.
other, it wasn't Bass or FLW, but other tournament organizations, the NPFL, fish Florida lakes last year, like summer and stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll catch a trend.
It seemed like I come down there one time in like June and we caught them.
I've
good on
never
rattle
been there
trap,
after-
schooling and stuff. Yeah.
When you had a team tournament down there?
Yeah. That was in April. That's when we went in April.
And the lake
Caught
was
them on
low.
swim bait. Oh, yeah. It was like stupid low. Yeah.
Really?
Remember that boat?
Yeah.
Boat, I would troll a motor to the outside edge. That's how low the lake was. It
Yes.
was like 11 feet, okay? You'd shut down 200 yards out in the lake and idle, and then you'd have to turn your engine all the way up, put your trolling motor all the way high, and troll a motor. And when you got to the outside of the Kissimmee grass, your boat was dragging bottom like this.
Really?
And you would take it's crystal clear. It's
So
only
as
this
far
deep.
as you could throw and catch one.
It was crystal clear. You could see everything in the joint grass. It would look like an aquarium, and you would
There's
throw
no
the
grass
swim
down
bait.
there now.
You'd throw the swim bait and reel it across this grass, and when one would hit and you're fighting it, there'd be 6 with it coming, like 5 to 6 pounders.
I'd
like
love to go
school-
down
They
there
were
later in the-
living in the holes that were made by the
Tilapia.
holes.
Yeah.
Like you would look out through there and there'd be nothing but water. It'd be this deep, but there'd be a tilapia hole
Like
that
where
you could
the
lose.
beds were?
You could
live
go
in them.
underwater in. I mean, it'd be like 4 foot deep.
Right.
and they'd
Oh,
be in
my-
those.
Yeah, they
Really?
dig
Yeah,
craters.
the tilapia holes. Those fish use those holes. That happens.
That's still one of the most fun weeks I've ever had fishing
Yeah,
in my
that's
life.
crazy.
That week.
just
pretty
really swimming.
interesting.
Oosh.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Awesome.
Maybe we could start a tournament, like if bass or somebody, start on somewhere that's got spotted bass in the wintertime. They bite when it's cold.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Lanier's. We need to go back to Lanier.
Lanier. We
That
talked
place has
about
been
that
on fire,
in the
too.
previous podcast. We definitely need to go Lanier. So
It's on fire.
So Okeechobee's on fire for sure. Jon Cox is on fire. I mean,
hey, I got another thing to bring up.
So
Hillary's going to Alabama.
roll tide.
Roll Tide.
I saw that.
Roll Tide.
I saw that this week.
How about that? Come
okay,
on now.
I guess I'll give you. I mean, I'm in Alabama.
Come on, give me a Roll Tide.
No, I saw
Roll
it this week.
Tide.
Roll Tide.
When in
I'm
Rome.
excited, man.
That's good.
I mean, so it was between SMU and Alabama, and she chose Alabama. I'm glad she did. You know, she'll be about an hour from here, so she can come and hang out a little bit. over
Taylor's
here.
happy.
Taylor's, your daughter's going there. They're going to hang out a lot, do some things. Hillary's going to have a boat. We're going to send her up there with a boat so she can do some stuff on the fishing team and fish a little bit. It's going to be good stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big
Really,
deal.
really neat.
Yeah. So she'll get to fish. What lakes now? What lake? Now I hear Bankhead and some of those lakes on
That's
that.
close, yeah, and those are really, really good. That's like the Warrior River is the fishiest looking place in the state of Alabama, and it's got big ones in it.
Right.
And then you got the Holt Dam that runs and below Holt, runs actually through Tuscaloosa and stuff on down below there. But there's giant spotted bass.
Which
I
one
mean-
is it? The one that catch the biggest spots on Holt?
Warrior, isn't it?
Well, it's all Warrior River,
Oh,
but yeah.
But is that if you launched in Tuscaloosa, you could go to that dam?
Yes,
Or you
is
have
that
to lock
right?
through?
Yeah, and what's weird is I've
Yes.
lived here for 30 years now, and I've fished the Warrior River one time in my life.
Really?
Like, we don't have
Is
any
it not?
tournaments that go there.
There's no
just too
ramps
small
that
or
are big
something?
Well,
enough to
just-
hold them. There's no
ramps.
cities.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they'll have like high
hosts.
school tournaments that have, their ramp will hold 40 something boats or 50,
Right.
and that's it. It's packed. But man,
a
it's
classic
the
there.
fishiest
Yeah, we went and
looking
fished a
place.
classic there one time.
Log jams out in the middle of the river, lily pads, hyson mats. I mean, it's everything
wow.
you can think of. Shallow water, power fishing. It's got it.
Really?
And we
Yes.
didn't catch crap. We toted a fish around. We caught him Nemo. He was about that big all day long in the tournament.
But is it not
That's
beautiful?
what Tim, every time I say, have we ever been to the Warrior River? Yeah, that's where we toted Nemo around all day. Yeah.
That's only because there wasn't docks that Tim could shoot his little worm under.
There's not much dock
Yeah.
fishing on there.
That was 20 years ago, but it was good. They caught him there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they caught him. We didn't even practice. We had made a classic or something and just drove over that morning, put the boat in the lake. Never seen it before. And
Probably fished out of Houghton's then.
yeah, was there an old broke down
Yep.
dock there or
Yep.
something?
That's
the only thing that
Houghton's,
was there.
and it's probably
Yeah.
and it's silted in so bad now that they don't have tournaments out of there.
Well, I'm excited. I'm going to spend some time up here and hang out a little bit with Hillary. And I know we'll go to the football games, of course, and do some cool stuff. And
That'll
I'm
be
looking forward to that
exciting.
next chapter in life.
You ever been to an Alabama football game?
I have not.
He's never been to a real football game.
Oh, come on now. Come on now.
Hey, the Seminoles used to dominate back in the day.
He's not even a Seminole fan. He's
Nah.
an Oklahoma fan.
Oklahoma, baby.
Oh, I
They're the
forgot. Yeah,
Sooners.
that's
Yes.
right. Sorry.
The best year they've ever had was when they got Alabama's quarterback.
That's it, for sure.
They've
now
been pretty
he's
good.
Now he's the highest paid quarterback
Yes,
in the
he is.
NFL.
What did he
Yep.
end up getting?
I forget.
200 million.
Yeah, for what, 5 years?
It ain't bad.
200
My wife's
million.
his biggest
Ain't bad.
fan.
It's crazy.
$200 million.
Yeah.
And then Alabama got the NFL draft. We were watching it at Santee Cooper.
Yeah,
The
Panthers.
first ever in the draft era got number 1 draft pick. So that's the first time we've ever had that.
Got number 1, number 3, and number 11
That's right.
that year.
Usually
This
we
year.
have a really, it's a couple of top 10 guys, but it's, usually defensive guys. But our quarterback went number 1. He could have went number 1 or number 2 this year, and he went number 1, Bryce Young. So
Wow.
best quarterback we've ever had, I think.
Will Anderson went 3.
Yep.
Running back went 11.
Jaleb Gibbs. And he was, we got him through the transfer portal, actually, but he was pretty awesome this year, too.
Yeah.
I hope he lives
Cool.
up to the hype. My parents have season tickets, Panthers season tickets.
he's gonna
so
be good.
They have
He's
a little bit of
super,
reason
super
to go
smart.
this year.
That's right.
It's been a while since they had a reason
Is
to
it
go.
hard to get tickets? I mean, because I
To
mean,
what?
No.
We'll get
to the
tickets.
games.
Yeah,
No,
we'll
we can
get
get you
tickets.
tickets.
Now
We'll
she's
get
a
tickets.
student there. Does a student get a few
Yes.
tickets?
Well, she
Well,
gets tickets
some
to
of
the.
them.
She gets tickets to.
You have to put
to
in
the-
for it, but yes.
Yeah. Well, like
Student
I've been.
section draw type
My,
deal.
my niece went there 10 years ago, and I've been on the list for 10 or 12 years
Yeah.
now, and hadn't got them.
Dixie graduated
Oh, wow.
and didn't get them. Like, we could have got season tickets when she graduated. She could have got them.
Right.
And she didn't. And then she had to stay on the list for like 10 years before
my
we ever
gosh.
got. Now we have season tickets, but it's It's actually, I forget it. Now, I don't know what it is right now, but 3 years ago they said it was a 20-year waiting list to get season tickets. I don't know what it is now.
And then it costs you. You got to do Tide Pride.
Tide
it's
Pride,
not
yeah.
just buying the tickets.
Right.
It's
Okay. You
Yeah.
Enough with
participate.
Alabama football.
They got to make that money to pay all them players to come there.
Come on now, easy. Pay the coach.
Basically
Hey,
legal
they
now.
do pay
isn't
them
it?
now. Yeah, the NIL deals. Yeah, they all get paid.
Hey,
now.
they just did that in North Carolina where high school kids could make money off like endorsement
they
deals and
didn't.
stuff. Yeah, they did.
I've seen that.
High school.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
So we need. All right. So here's a debate. This
Fishing
is
counts
good.
too. High school
Yes.
fishing.
So I don't know a lot about the NIL. Okay, but I know
Not
that.
included league. What is
Well,
that?
I don't know. Isn't that the thing where they pay them, right?
That's
NIL.
right.
NIL. So the donors for each school, like there's donors for Alabama that put money into that fund that then gets divided up amongst players, and the
I don't
donors.
know how they do that.
I think it's per school.
I don't think anybody understands how it works.
But from what I understand, it's
But they
basically based on per school. My point is this. So if there's any donors watching this, which I doubt there is, but if there is a donor watching
never
this at these
knows.
different schools around the country, if you're writing these checks to these awesome programs, football, baseball, and all these things, carve a little out for the fishing team.
That's
They
right,
need
yeah.
it just a little bit. And we don't need them. We don't need $1 million contracts. Be nice,
that's it.
but just carve a little out.
About the high school teams.
If we could get some of these donors, i.e., a big donor for Alabama that might like to fish, all of a sudden he's writing a check every year to Alabama. He might say to the president, "Hey, take a little of this right here. Take 10% of this money and put it over in that fishing thing."
Yeah.
Right? If we can get that, then the fishing students can start getting some money for gas and for boats and for tackle
right.
and room and board. That's
It's
what
tough
we need
on
it
them.
for.
It's tough
Yeah.
on a lot of these college kids to travel. Now, there's certain schools that actually pay for their travel and their tournaments, but some of them don't.
Yeah, and pay for their schooling. There's some, but the big D1 schools are the ones that.
That's
Those
where
are
we
the,
need the help.
Those are
Yep.
the kids that, I mean, hard to say that because it's thinking kind of backwards, right? Because they have more money than all the smaller schools. But, well, not in the private schools, but at the same time, those kids are not getting any help whatsoever. And travel expenses for a college kid to fish, it's expensive.
Yeah. Right. So that's what we need to do. I'm gonna stay on that a little bit, kind of work
so
on
the
that.
college,
Pretty
you're
good.
talking about getting money for the college kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just
I
gotta
like
we
it.
just gotta keep planting seeds to these donors that are again writing $1 million checks to these different universities around the country to say just take a little bit out. We don't need a lot, just a little bit, and put it over there in the fishing fund for
I
these
like
kids.
it. Because, I mean, most of them use their own boats.
Right.
It's not like university boats or anything.
Right. There's probably more
Trucks.
expense, right, in a fishing team than say club soccer, right?
100%.
because
it's more
you know,
expensive than
Oh,
any
yeah.
other sport.
Yeah.
no disrespect, but they're buying a couple soccer balls and some equipment. But the fishing team has to have a truck to pull a boat. They have to have boats, the rods and reels, all that stuff. 3 or 4 days at a hotel room, all the different things is probably a little more expensive, I would think.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
all know how it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been on here a little bit, and let's talk a little bit about Lele coming up this week.
Don't say anything, Mark.
Well, he can't say
No
anything.
worries.
He hadn't been on the
I
water
am
in what, a
being-
year.
You wouldn't want me to help you at Lay Lake, I promise.
I promise you, most guys here would want you to help us, or
No.
even me, but I can't talk to you either.
I
so.
hadn't been in forever. There,
It's 8:59.
That's right.
8:59.
Lele.
We're an hour late.
This is
way
a
past his bedtime.
It's 10 o'clock
What is
North
this, our
Carolina.
third? Is this our third
at
podcast?
Santee? So at home it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It is long time past my
And you
bedtime.
got up at what time to go turkey hunting today?
4 o'clock.
I don't
Okay.
want to
You
hear
didn't
it.
ask me.
Went
Y'all
turkey
didn't
hunting.
ask me what I did.
We
this
should have
weekend.
talked about that. 10 gobblers in one
Yesterday
day.
morning. I went gobbing. I went turkey hunt. What is that? A coyote?
Did you have 10 gobblers today?
Yeah, I didn't shoot 10 gobblers,
But
but,
you
I
seen
actually
10
heard 10
That's
gobblers
what I'm
today.
talking about.
Yeah.
Y'all heard or seen 10
That would be highly
gobblers.
illegal.
No, they didn't shoot any.
With
They
my
didn't kill
AR.
any.
Yeah, kids just mowed them down, baby. I went turkey hunting yesterday. Called in one for a buddy, and he shot it. Then I played pickleball for 4 hours.
4 hours
It's a
of
good
pickleball?
Saturday. Yeah. Well, my wife and the kids
About
were out
like
of
you
town at my
working out
niece's
for 4
birthday.
hours.
Yeah.
How many games does 4 hours represent? Just
Oh,
curious.
I played 20-something games probably.
With another person or by yourself? I mean, there's
Well,
like
you
4
have to have
people?
other people to play pickleball.
That's a lot of
20
pickleball.
games in 4 hours?
I mean,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you take a water break, chit chat a little bit.
So
like-
is pickleball like?
it's like
I mean, it's
See how
like
many
ping
fried
pong,
pick-
but tennis. It's somewhere
see how
between
many-
tennis and ping pong,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how he twisted his ankle.
No comment.
I seen him
I'm
hobbling
not
when he got up
Tore
early.
his
I'm not
calf muscle in
correcting.
half.
Hey, McCoy's worried about the Florida Panthers game that's going on right now.
Oh, it may
Is
be
it
over.
paused?
Did they win? Oh,
They did win.
They're up
Panthers
3-0?
won.
They're
You
up
serious?
3-0.
No
And y'all
wonder he's
haven't
been smiling.
celebrated. That's
Oh
pretty
my
awesome.
God. Is that? No, wait. This is something pretty special. How many games in a row have they won now? 4? No, 6.
Like 6. Yeah.
They won 3 and 3, so 6.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
And knocked off the number 1 team in the NHL.
In
Yeah.
hockey.
And 1 game away from knocking off the number 2. Wow.
A Florida
All right.
team that's good at hockey.
We don't even have ice down there. I don't even.
I know.
I don't even know how they play.
Ain't none of them boys from Florida. I promise you that.
They're
All right.
living their best life in Florida.
Lay Lake. I have no idea.
We don't have a.
Matt's
There's,
never
there's
fished
not
there.
very
I've
much.
fished
seen
there
the lake.
once.
Oh, I
A few
saw it on
opens
TV.
is the only history that we have there, a classic or something. But I've fished it a bunch over the years. I think it's going to be a good tournament. There's going to be. I think we're actually hitting it at a good time. It's been cold around here. Last week it was in the 40s every night this week when the boys have been here. And last night it stayed warm. Tonight it's staying warm, and it's not going to get cold again. It's going to be in the 80s about every day. I think Wednesday is going to be upper 80s, maybe close to 90.
I hope it snows.
So I think the fishing's going to get better. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good event. Of course, I'm looking forward to it. It's here, but who knows? I mean, the worst tournament I've had since I've been on the Elites probably was at Neely Henry, which we stayed at my house for that tournament. It was actually closer than Lay Lake, and that was the worst tournament I've had. So you never know what it's going to take, but I think prediction-wise, I think that 15 to 16 and a half pounds a day is going to win the tournament. 14 to make the top 10, and
Wow.
10 or 11 a day to get paid. That's what I'm predicting right now.
I've only caught mostly spots here. When I fished it,
You fished the open in the
I
fall.
fished it twice here, and I don't know when the second time was. Maybe 2 different times for bass.
Okay.
But I caught big spots here late in the fall, and then we fished one spring here. I know we did.
Yep.
But anyways, I've caught pretty big spots.
It's
Like
got big spots in
14,
it.
15, 16 pounds of spots.
I'm excited because I've never seen the lake before.
That's
And
it.
as goofy as that sounds, it's rare. Been doing this 14 years. You longer than that. Canterbury about the same.
Well, you won.
And that I've ever been to that we go to a lake that we've never been to before.
Did you win a Forest Wood Cup as a co-angler at Logan Martin?
Yeah.
You won
Back
a
100
Forest Wood
years
Cup
ago.
as
Was
a
in
co-angler at
06.
Logan Martin, Coosa River. You top 10 Neely Henry. I think Coosa River fits your style pretty good.
Yeah, you
we'll
got a good
see.
track record.
Fantasy guys, are you listening?
Yeah.
Mad
If
at
you
you.
hadn't used him yet, might
Yeah.
be time.
I finished second.
What they call that? Empty the
second
tank?
before
I don't
Cup.
know.
No,
Yeah.
I'm in like bucket A. I don't get picked in bucket A. Bucket A is they go by like standings. So like top 15 or 20 guys are
Oh,
bucket
you're always
A.
in Group A. That's
He
right.
stays
Well, no,
in Group A.
I have been in Group A, and that's why I don't ever get picked because I'm at the bottom of Group A, and you're like, that's not gonna happen.
What
But
group am
my
I in?
dad
C?
picks me though.
Am I in
My
C?
dad, and my wife picked me.
Do they?
Yeah, that might be the only. That's why it says 0.01%.
You know,
You know,
when
how
I
many
started
percent
fishing
people pick you?
FLW, they did fantasy fishing for $1 million.
I remember that.
Big
Gave away $1
time.
million to the winner. of
Didn't-
fantasy
Nobody
fishing.
knew who I was, and I had like the best year I've ever had. Jay Ellis, I roomed with him. Dixie picked me and Jay had a great year. Like, picked me at every tournament. The first tournament, I finished like 88th, which was horrible. I zeroed the first day I ever fished a professional tournament. Zeroed. The next day, I caught them. The second tournament, I finished second. The third tournament, I finished third. Ended up having a great year. Dixie finished, I don't even know where she's at, but she finished like sixth.
Oh, wow.
Overall,
You won money, right?
$15,000 Walmart gift
I
card
remember
for
you telling
fantasy
me that.
fishing. Yes.
Yeah.
So was it
so-
one gift card or was it like
So that
$1,500?
yeah, $100 cards. It was
The whole
150
book.
of them. Yeah.
150 of them.
$100 cards.
$150 with
So
really? That's
Yeah.
what they sent you?
yeah, I mean, I used them. You could use them at Murphy's, all the gas stations. You could use them
Did
anywhere.
you use them all up?
Christmas
yeah, we used them
presents.
all. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But that year, that's the year. That's the first year they paid $1 million, and then they made it immediate family members
Yeah, they
couldn't
could-
do it. So we called it the Dixie Canterbury rule after that.
Insider trading.
Yeah, insider trading. Yep.
Insider trading.
I've got a good topic for next podcast, okay? I just thought of it. This would be a neat one because we've all probably got stories about not catching them in tournaments. I've zeroed in a tournament before, a couple different times actually.
Yeah.
And there's probably some pretty interesting stories about some of those. I
Yeah.
think that'd be a neat to hear. We
the-
talk about tournaments we've won. Let's talk about
The ones that got away
the
or something.
really disastrous situations where you just kind of thought you were going to catch them and you don't.
That's
So,
great.
You remember those better too.
Yeah.
You do.
Oh yeah.
Some
Those-
of the
those-
best,
those are
some
the
of the
lessons.
worst tournaments that I've ever had. That was probably one of them. which I didn't have a great practice for that one. But some of the worst tournaments I've had in 15 years now of doing this were my best practices.
Even locally, I used to keep a log, and at the end of the year, you learn more off the tournaments that you really stunk
sure.
it up in than you did the ones you won.
For sure.
100%.
I guess that's why I'm getting better. I've stunk it up enough.
Yeah, I'm in hardcore learning.
Never
as
stop
fishermen,
learning.
we all think that we're really good somewhere, and then you start looking at that log at the end of the year, and you realize,
gosh.
I really suck at Neely Henry
Yes.
this time of year. I thought I caught him there, but I don't.
No.
That's good stuff. All right, guys, thank you for watching. We're going to wrap this thing up. Matt's got to get to bed. I've got 3 hours of rig and tackle. And we still have not come up with a name, so drop some comments down below. I appreciate everyone hanging out. Mark, thank you for joining us.
Thanks
on
for
this.
asking me, guys.
And hopefully you guys enjoyed. We have no idea what we're doing, but we're having a good time. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. So that's it. We'll see you guys. Good night.
Bam.
Matt said
You did it again. You did it again. Don't bend the wrist.
bam.
Don't bend the wrist,
Did I
Matt.
bend? Oh.
Yes, you did.
Bam.